Okay, so let's continue then, shall we? So just to recap, this is just basically the workflow that we just went over in the first part. It's also on your handout. So we started off by initializing a repo. We added files to the repo, and then we commented them. So each time you make a change to your files, then you also go and stage them, then comment them. So in this next section, we'll look at a little bit at some slightly more advanced things with Git. So the first thing, let's just revisit this idea here. So you remember how we talked about this briefly earlier on, right? But chances are, when you're actually working on something, it's really unlikely that you're going to stop and make comments a lot, right? Because it's really easy to get caught up in whatever it is you're actually working on. And then we only remember to comment after we're done. But we know it's a good idea to make small comments. So wouldn't it be nice if we actually had a way to take a huge amount of changes and then split them up into different comments after the fact? So it actually turns out Git has something which lets us do that, which is called patch mode. It lets us take a whole bunch of changes and split them up. So we'll actually take a look at that right now. So the way patch mode works is it actually lets us see all the different changes that we've made, then pick the ones that we want to stage. But in order to do so, we need to have like a bunch of different changes to make to comment first. So under the adding stuff section, we just type just this paragraph here. But don't actually go running this command yet, because we need to do one more thing before we can actually see it. So just just add something underneath one of the sections, like this. So does everyone have something like this under add or anywhere, depending on how you structured your file? Like, feel free to paraphrase it, by the way. Like, you don't have to copy it exactly the way I do. Like, if it's clearer to you a different way, feel free to just write that instead. Everyone good? Okay, so now under the comment section, do we have a comment section? Okay, let's just add one. Right. So yeah, the thing to note is that the changes we make have to be separated. This is because we're making really small changes here, like we're just adding a few lines here and there to our file. So we actually can't distinguish between them if they were together. Like, it would just think this whole chunk is one change. This isn't a problem if you're working on actual code, because you'll tend to have huge chunks of blocks or methods or whatever. So has everyone done this? So you have one change up here, earlier in the file, and then another change down somewhere else. So they're not right next to each other. Okay. So let's see how this works now. Let's just do git add and -p like this, and hit enter. So you notice that Git has actually just shown us the line that we added under the add section, right? Like to stage certain changes, etc., etc. And there's this little prompt down here. So if you're actually wondering what this does, we can actually just type question mark like that, hit enter, and we get a whole bunch of text saying what every single option does. You don't have to worry about exactly what this does. So basically, what we can do now is we can tell Git that, yes, I want to take this change and stage it, and we can selectively stage only certain changes that we make. So right now we want to add this first change, so we'll type a Y. and hit enter. So has everyone done that? So then after we do that, Git prompts us with this next thing that we added. We added the commit section here, and it tells us, yeah, it just shows us this thing in the way that the diff thing from before the break does. So in this case, we don't want to add this change because it's completely unrelated to the one we've done before, right? This is on a different section. This is on commits. The previous one was on adding. So we'll tell Git, no, I don't, by typing N. Like this. Question or issue? Okay. So yeah, has everyone done this? We've added the first one, and we've said no to the second one. We all good? Okay, so now if we run Git Status, you can see that although we just added something, we have some changes here to be commented, and we have some which haven't. Because this is exactly just what we just did. We told Git to stage to add one of the lines, and we told it not to add the other one. So we have some of the changes that will go to our next commit, and some which will just stay in our working directory. So if we go and commit now, so yeah, we just commented that thing. If we run Git Status again, you'll see we still have the change that we haven't commented. And if we run Git diff, we can see that it's still here. So now let's just comment this the usual way. Let's try this new -a thing we just saw before the break. Everyone have this? Oops. And we just made a separate comment with the other change. Just normal way, git commit -a. So now our comment log looks something like this. So really quickly, if you have a bunch of comments like this where it doesn't all fit on one screen, you can scroll up and down using the, using the J keys to go, J to go down, K to go up. And then when you're done, you just hit Q, and we're back on the command line. So anyone have any issues with what we just did? Any questions, concerns? No? Yes? Okay, the question is, what do we press to move up and down in the log? Is that right? Okay, so if we're in the log, to move up and down, we just press J to move down, and we press K to move up. And then when you're done, you just hit Q, like Q for quit, and we're back. Okay. All good? Okay, so let's take a look at this thing called branching. This is something that will help us out when we're working with more complex projects. And this is where that whole multiverse label for the section comes in. Because what branching does is it lets us essentially have different universes in one repository. So to actually look at branches, it first helps to understand what our repo actually looks like. So each circle here is a commit, basically. The right side's more recent, left one's older. So you notice this is a little time arrow from left to right. Let's see if I can do that. Like, you notice this? So this is an older comment here on the left, and here's a newer comment on the right. So comments are actually linked to the ones that come before them. So that's why we have the arrows going from right to left. So this comment here is linked to this one, this guy's linked to here, and this one's linked to here. So that's all that means. This is just how Git tracks things. And yeah, all it means is just a comment is based on the one that comes before it. So this is like our repo right now. It's just a bunch of comments in one chain. So this chain is known as a branch, and actually Git has already given it a name. So if everyone could just type Git Status right now, you'll notice the first thing it says is on branch master. Does everyone see that? Okay, so we can actually label this branch like this. So the thing is, even if you never use other branches, you'll always have this master branch. So what's the point of a branch? Well, like I just mentioned really briefly, branches are basically self-contained universes. Like if you make a comment on one branch, it's not present on any other branch in your repo. So what this means is we can actually use branches to experiment and work on different things. So for example, like if we have a bunch of different features we want to add to a project, like say you're making a web page and you want to add a new section, or you want to add a few different sections, but you can put them on different branches. So this way, they actually don't interfere with what we've done. So you can see we have feature A's on one branch, feature B's on another branch. So they're both completely separate, they don't interfere with each other, and they don't interfere with the work that we've already done and we want to keep safe on the master branch. So we can also drop them completely if we don't want it. Like let's say the stuff in feature B just doesn't work and we don't want to bother with it. So we don't actually have to go and delete code from our project or anything. Like we can just never ever touch that branch again. So let's actually see this in action now with our actual repo. So firstly, we want to actually see how to figure out what branches we have. And the command for that is pretty straightforward too. It's just git and branch, like this. Just git and branch. If you hit enter, it just shows us, yeah, we have one branch, it's called master, and we're on it right now. That's why it's highlighted green and it has a little asterisk next to it. And let me just check if we have anything. Yeah. Okay. So to create a new branch, what we do is we type git branch, again, the same command as before, and then we type the name of the branch we want to create. So in this case, I'm just going to call it alternate, like this, and hit enter. So when you're creating a branch, it actually helps to name the branch something useful, like say the name of the feature you're working on or the thing you're experimenting with, just to help you remember what that branch is for. So, has everyone done this? Like git, branch, and then alternate. Okay, so if we run git branch again, like that, you can see right now we just created now we have two branches. We have the master branch as usual, and we have the alternate branch that we just created. So let's just make a note of this. So yeah, we just made some notes on branches right here. Then we'll comment them. So has everyone done this? Yeah, don't forget to save and make a comment with all the stuff when you're done. So everyone's commented, like we're all set? Okay, so yeah, we just made a comment in the master branch, but you remember how we created the alternate branch before we did that? So you remember? So if we visit the alternate branch now, like what do you think that would look like? Like it basically wouldn't have the comment that we have now. So let's just look at our one-line log again real quickly. So you notice it looks something like this. Like we just added this comment on making notes on branches, right? Like everyone has this? Okay, so now let's actually go and take a look at our alternate branch. So to do that, we use a command called checkout. And the way that works is we just do git checkout, one word, and the name of the branch that we want to go to. So in this case, it's just alternate. So git checkout alternate like that. Then we hit enter. So you notice a few things. Firstly, you'll see, yeah, Git tells us switch to branch alternate. If you're using Windows and if you're using Git Bash on Windows, you notice that before it says here we run master, now this thing says run alternate. If you go and do git branch, you'll also see that now we're on alternate. So if we do log again, you notice now that we don't have this latest comment on branches. And that's because, yeah, we made the alternate branch, then we went and added that text and made a comment wrong on master, and then we switched. So this comment isn't on the alternate branch. And in fact, if you go back to your text file, you'll notice that it's changed. And that the stuff that we just added is no longer there. So does everyone have that? Okay. So yeah. So I hope this actually does demonstrate how branches actually are. Like if you do stuff on one branch, it's not in another one. So let's go and make some notes here on the alternate branch still. Just this last paragraph here. And then go and comment that as usual. So something like this. So everyone have this? Okay, let's just check again real quickly that we don't have anything in common. Okay, great. So branches are pretty useful, right? Like we can do different things on different branches, but there'll come a time where we want to actually take the stuff we've done on one of the branches and bring it back into the other one. Like let's say this was a feature we've just done, and now we're done with it. So we want to bring it back into our master branch. So to do that, let's just go back to the master branch. So do you still remember how to do that? Yeah. Okay, so if you don't, it's just git checkout, one word, and then the branch name. So in our case, we want to go back to master. So we do git checkout master like this. And you'll notice, again, if you switch back to your text file, the stuff we added on checkout is gone, but the stuff we have on branching is back, right? Because we just went back to the master branch. So we have this, but we don't have the comment we just made on alternate. So what we really want to do now is actually merge both of these two things together, right? So, as you might guess, the command to do that is just git merge, and then the name of the branch that we want to merge from. So in this case, it's just alternate, and we run that. Just ignore this for now. So the thing to note about merging is, to merge something, you have to merge from, like, let's say you want to bring changes from alternate into master. So you need to be on the master branch, and then you do git merge alternate. So basically, you need to be on the branch that you want to bring your changes into, and then you tell Git the branch you want to bring your changes from. Okay, so you notice that Git kind of freaked out over here, and it says automatic merge failed, right? So if you actually go back to our document, you'll see there's a bunch of extra stuff here now. Like, we have this thing here, we have a bunch of equal signs, we have this alternate thing. So, and if we go here and we run Git Status, you notice how it says we have unmerged paths. So, basically what should have happened, right? Like what should have happened if when we run git merge alternate is it should have taken the changes that we made on alternate, it should have brought them back to the master, and it should have automatically just combined it. But in this case, Git can't actually figure out what to do, because as far as Git knows, we've done two different things which both conflict with each other, right? Like, we went in master, we added something to the end of the document, which was this stuff here. Then we went to alternate, and we added this stuff also to the end of the document. So Git doesn't know that these are actually, like, it's actually fine to just keep both of these. It thinks we've tried to do something, it's basically saw we've done something at the end of the document, it's different, so it doesn't know how it should actually combine them. So this is called a merge conflict, and it basically just happens, actually happens pretty rarely. So in order to fix that, it's actually pretty straightforward. We just need to edit the document to be the way we want it to be, and then just save and commit. So we'll get rid of this thing here, get rid of this, and finally just get rid of that. And that's really all there is to it. Like, in our case here, it's really simple because we want to keep both of these changes, right? If you're actually working on a project and it gets a little bit more complex, you just need to basically read the code and then just keep just change the document to be the way you want it to remain. And that's really all there is to it. So we delete that stuff, we just save it, and then we commit it. And you notice that Git actually already created this commit message for us, merge branch alternate. So we can just save that. And yeah, you'll notice it has a bunch of conflicts that we just fixed. Save that and close. So that's all there is to that, and we'll just make a note about that.
What's the next click?
Right after this. Right after this. Okay, so yeah, just added a bunch of stuff on merging. And we just commented as usual. Actually, let's look at another way of making a comment a little shorter when everyone's done. So when you're done, don't comment just yet. Okay, so has everyone typed this? But you haven't commented yet, right? But even if you have, it doesn't really matter. So remember how earlier we were doing git add dot, then git comment, and then we learned we can do git comment -a to shortcut that, right? So now we can actually shortcut the process of adding a comment message too. So we can do git comment -a -m, and then if you open quotes, you can actually just type your comment message right there. So notes on merging like this, and you can just you just do git comment -a -m, open quotes, you type your message, then you close quotes, and then if you run that, it just makes a comment for you without the need to open up the editor, type it in, save, and close. So that's another neat shortcut that we could use. So is everyone okay so far? So let's just take a look at what we just did. So here's basically our master branch. We have some comments on it. So you remember we created an alternate branch, right? So what that did was it basically stuck another label like this at that comment there. So now we have master and alternate. Does anyone have problems so far with this? Okay. So then what we did was we made a comment in master, and what that did was it added a comment and also moved the label for master up. So you'll notice again that the alternate label hasn't changed. The alternate branch is still at the point that we made it. Does anyone have questions at this point? Okay. Okay, so then what we did was we went into the alternate branch and we made a comment there. So effectively, this is what that looks like that. So then after that, we went and merged alternate back into master. So after we fixed the conflict that we had, this is essentially what we have right now. So you notice the alternate branch is still untouched, it's still there, but it doesn't have any of the other changes we've made, because we haven't made any other changes to it. And also, the last comment has 2 arrows pointing, but all that means is that it's based on the comments that come before it, both in master and in alternate. That's all that means. So you notice it's actually still in the master branch, it's not in the alternate branch. Does anyone have issues so far? Okay, so that's another section down actually. So we just saw how to break up huge changes with patch mode. We saw how to make different branches that we can experiment and work with. And we saw how to merge those branches and fix any conflicts that may come up. So in the next part, we'll look at how to actually move through our project history. Yes?
Can you explain the patch mode?
Okay. So yeah, in the next part, we'll look at how to move through our project's history, like how we can actually go back in time and see what our project was like at any point. And we'll also see how to undo any mistakes we've made, which is actually a really, really cool feature, I think. So again, if you have any issues or questions, now will be the time to ask. We'll take a 5-minute break? 10-minute break. So we'll start again at 12:02.